I don't normally make videos like this. I don't really do news or especially leaks and rumors, but this one is a little different because this is a pretty big deal. In case you haven't heard, the other day or last night, whatever, time zones are a weird thing, Jason Schreier, who is the master leaker pretty much, has confirmed that PlayStation has canned two live service games. Again, it's not the first time that happened. One of them was from Bend Studios, who worked on Days Gone a while back, and one of them was from Bluepoint Studios or Bluepoint Games, and they were, shocker, working on a God of War live service game, which was an interesting thing to find out, an interesting way to find out, because this live service God of War game is not happening anymore, apparently. Straight up, the worst thing about this is that another studio has wasted years of their time and resources making a game that just got canned. It's never fun. It sucks for people who worked on it because they won't be able to use their work in portfolios, and their resumes will have giant gaps because of NDAs and stuff like that. That's the worst thing, when years of hard work just get thrown out. And I am really hoping that both of these studios are not going to get layoffs, because that has been an extremely common thing after a game cancellation. Normally layoffs follow, unfortunately, and I'm really hoping that no one at Bend and Bluepoint gets thrown out just because Sony decided that they wanted to cancel these games. That being said, when I read these news, my first initial reaction was relief, actually. It felt like we dodged a bullet almost, and I think that is an understandable reaction considering PlayStation's efforts in the live service sphere and let's call it lack of success on that front. They have exactly one live service game that's good or successful right now. That's Helldivers 2. We have Concord, which is one word that says a million things. I don't need to explain anything more than that. And a bunch of other live service games got canceled, apparently. There was a Twisted Metal live service game that was canned earlier last year. And now we find out that there was a God of War live service. From what I read online, most of people have had an extremely positive reaction to this news, because people simply don't want any more live service games, and they especially don't want live service games that utilize iconic single player PlayStation brands and franchises like God of War. There was obviously a Last of Us faction game that was canceled. There was a leaked Spider-Man live service game that actually people seem to have wanted, but it's not happening anymore. And people don't seem to want a live service God of War game. Obviously, we have no idea what this game would have been like. It could have been the best live service game ever made and had bigger numbers than Fortnite, whatever. Obviously not, but it could also be total dog shit. It could be interesting. Obviously, I would like to see at least what it was in concept. When I found out, I was thinking a little bit about what a live service God of War game would have been about. And my first initial idea was, obviously, I'm assuming it would be based on Norse mythology, because that's the current God of War brand, that's what people know. And I would imagine they would do something like a live service game based on the Great War, for example. And you can do different factions. You can do Aesir, Vanir, dwarves, elves, even giants, maybe. That honestly sounds exciting the way I describe it. But maybe, again, complete speculation. I have no idea. It could be interesting. It could be cool. We could explore different elements of the lore and of the 9 realms that we haven't before, or maybe not. Maybe it would have been something completely boring and disinteresting, and I guess we'll never know. But the fact that there could be a world where there is a live service God of War game, I'm imagining the reveal and the mixed reactions and the possible disappointment that would have followed, and the fact that something like microtransactions or something like battle passes and seasons and stuff like that would be associated with a God of War game. It makes me feel, Again, it could be something completely player friendly could be something on the predatory, but again, this is speculation. We have no idea, and we might not know what unless it leaks. But it's the very fact that it garnered such a the cancellation garnered such a positive reaction just says that I guess it was the right choice to cancel this game, because in 2025, after Concord, after the Suicide Squad game and all of that, I feel like people just automatically assume that a live service title is just a cash grab, essentially artless and soulless title that's meant to use a popular brand to get as much money from players as possible. That's the sentiment right now. I'm not opposed to a God of War multiplayer game. Again, whatever I described in my head, that's what I would want. That would be interesting, theoretically, like a Norse mythology kind of different races war kind of thing with different realms as different maps. That could be potentially interesting. It's honestly probably for the better, because the reaction and the response could have been pretty dramatic. And my hope is that this cancellation doesn't mess much with whatever Santa Monica was planning or is planning. Obviously, it's not Santa Monica's game that got canceled, but I would assume that at the very least, they would try to connect this game to either existing God of War titles or future God of War titles in terms of lore or whatever else, in terms of, brand synergy, at least to get like people like us, God of War fans, to get something out of it, beyond just playing in a God of War live service title. And I hope this doesn't screw up a lot of what they have going on, but I'm kind of afraid that it did, and I'm sure they're not particularly happy about this cancellation either. And some people already talked about it, but this title and the announcement of this title could have been the surprise for the 20th anniversary of God of War in March. Corey hinted at something last year again, and this could have been it. And now they have nothing to show, and potentially, again, speculation 100%, which sucks. That would suck for them. So very weird news, very interesting to find out about this like that there was a God of War live service, and now it's not. So nothing's different, I guess. But again, I really hope that Bluepoint and also Bend Studios don't suffer as much from it any more than they already have from the cancellation, because years of work being thrown out is always terrible. I hope Santa Monica's plans for the future of God of War don't get ruined that much after this cancellation. It's very interesting to find out. I know a lot of fans don't want a God of War live service game. I'm interested to know if there is a reality or a version of a live service game that could be interesting for you. I'm assuming most of you are single player fans like I am. I want to know, what do you think? Obviously, I'm assuming the answer is good, but is there a world or a potential title, whether it's live service or a multiplayer game for God of War, that you would actually be interested to play? And I guess that's it. Bye.